Welcome to the Alvord Governing Board meeting for October 22nd, 2020. We are going to call this meeting to order at 6:01. We do have a quorum, with the exception of one board member. She won't be able to join us this evening, and that's Mrs. Julie Moreno. At approximately 8:30, the Board of Education will determine which of the remaining agenda items can be considered and acted upon to 9 p.m. and may continue all other items on which additional time is required until a further meeting is noticed. All meetings are scheduled to end no later than 9 p.m. We also have, we are going to have an amendment on page 8 of the personnel order. It's amended to change the certificated employee retirement date from January 4th, 2021 to January 5th, 2021. So we'll be voting on that later on in the meeting. And at this time, we are so excited. We have two very special guests with us this evening that we just are so excited that they're here with us. And this is our City Councilman, Mr. Stephen Hemingway. He's going to be giving us an update on Ward 7. And this is his first time with us. So welcome. We are so pleased to have you here. And we look forward to your update. So
great.
The Zoom room is yours.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks so much. Good evening, Superintendent Musarino, President Wilson, and the board here. We're, grateful. I want to start by just saying I'm grateful for all that you've been doing. We are in a very unique time, very precarious time, and I can only imagine the load, the extra load that this brings to your work here. But we're just so grateful for you leading, navigating, and guiding us through this times for in the school district and for the families and residents here in Ward 7 and on all of Alvord. So thanks so much for what you're doing. It's a tremendous work. So really grateful for you. Since this is my first time, I was told I should just let folks know a little bit about me. So I'll just be brief, just share a bit about myself, and then I'll jump into just a few updates that I think are important at this point. We could give many updates, but a few that I think are most important. So a little bit about myself. I hail from the big city of Three Rivers, Michigan. And if you're wondering where that is, it's because no one knows where that's at. It's really a very small space, about as big as my office here. So, but it's close to a place called Kalamazoo. Some people know where that is. So I hail from Michigan, but I've been out here in Riverside in Southern California here for about almost 25 years now. And so I drove my big wheel out. It's just, I don't want to show you my age, but anyway, I moved out here to go to college, went to RCC for a bit, then went to La Sierra University right here in Ward 7. I crammed all 4 years of college into 8. So I took the scenic route, and I graduated. I got my undergraduate degree, started working at the university, and while I was there, did a master's degree in school counseling, got credentialed, and then went on, though, to do an MBA with a dual emphasis in finance and accounting, which is where I find my work now at La Sierra University Church as the director of finance, teach some classes at the university in the School of Business and in some of our other areas for our general education spaces, SSCI, social sciences, and things like that. So, and now as your Ward 7 council member, so here to serve you all. And as many of you know, I picked a great assistant that helps me in the Ward 7 office, Lizette Vega, and just grateful for her keeping us all in line in the office. There are many moving parts and things spinning around, and she does a great job. And what I think is great about that is the partnership and the collaboration that we can do a little bit more closely with Alvord. And I think that just helps us serve the constituents of Ward 7 in a more comprehensive and holistic way. And so it's been a baptism by fire in the first 10 months of 2020. But we're learning fast, and we're hopefully a lot of great things ahead for us. So thanks for the time. I'll be quick here with the few updates. And so many of you, as you probably know, Riverside County has kind of moved back to this purple phase, right? And so that means a little bit of changes. I'll leave the school changes to you all, the experts in that area. But as far as the city goes, it means we kind of move back to outside things for restaurants and things like that. As far as retail, back down to that capacity to 25% inside. Gyms and fitness centers all outside, and some of the other things that we've kind of been used to now, movie theaters and others, will adjust a bit. So while that, we're grateful to move to red, we also know that we've got to make some changes to keep residents safe, and so the county has the state has found us back here in the purple. But one thing that is encouraging that I think is important for you all to know, and all the residents that might be watching or listening, is there's one way that we can help get and continue to progress, and all while being healthy and making sure residents are tended to, and that is to get tested to go to any of the testing centers, get tested, do the COVID test there. If you want to make an appointment or more information on that, riversideca.gov/COVID-19 will give you most of that information. It's really important for us. One thing that helps us get a handle on this more appropriately is just so that when folks and residents get tested. So can't encourage you enough to do that. Lizeth and I went and go regularly. It's not that bad. So we encourage you to do that. The other thing is, as most of you know, the elections are coming up real close here, and there are quite a few Riverside items there, initiatives, things on the back, and we want to make sure you don't forget. It's on the back of the second page. It's a very long ballot this time. Don't forget the back page there, but please, in fact, also do not forget to go out and vote. It's really important that everyone's voice is heard. So that's the main thing. I would just want to say again, if there's anything that our office can be helpful with, anything that we can do to, work together to improve our space, we are here. And I think you know how to get a hold of us, myself or Lizeth. Just go ahead and email or call. We're here to serve you and work together to make our space amazing. So thanks again for the time. Really appreciate it. And I can answer any questions. If there's things that you had on your mind that I didn't answer, by all means, I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yay. Your first time. Fabulous. Fabulous. All right. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to District 1 update. Vice Mayor of the City of Corona, Miss Jackie Casillas.
Hi, it's nice to be with you all again. My internet connection says it's a bit unstable, so if for some reason it doesn't work, I can hop on the phone line, so just let me know. But I have a couple of updates for you all tonight since it's been a while. The first is that we have a landscape renovation project along Magnolia, the median from Brimpa to Ontario. You will have noticed that work has already kind of started. It's a little bit of a facelift. It's the project that began on the 5th of October, and it will go through February of next year. It's going to look really nice when it's all done, and it's also going to be extending left-hand turn lanes going southbound at Fullerton and Kellogg Avenue. So that's a little renovation project. We also have a lot of work happening in our playgrounds. We've had some resurfacing and surfacing projects at several of our playgrounds. Citrus Park is completed, Ontario Park is completed, Victoria Park is wrapping up, and Promenade Park, which is the one closest to Alvord and the Alvord School District, will be done by the end of October. Mm-hmm. We have also recently opened up Lincoln Park All-Inclusive Playground. It is the first citywide all-inclusive playground. The next will be Santana Park, and it's coming pretty soon. So go check it out with your little ones. And two more items to cover tonight. The next is Emergency Housing Needs Assistance Program. We still have funds available for rental assistance. And Corona renters that are financially impacted by COVID-19 are encouraged to apply and receive up to $6,000 in financial assistance for rent and utility payments. There is an application. It's a little lengthy, but it's pretty straightforward, and we will help you with it. So if you need help you've been impacted by COVID and you need some assistance, there are a couple of criteria, but we'll be happy to cover that with you. You can give us a call at 951-736-2434, 951-736-2434. And lastly, we, as Council Member Hemingway covered, the election is coming up, and the city has 4 official drop-off locations. They're very busy, and that's a good thing. City Hall is an official drop-off location. You can come and drop off your ballot Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We also have Home Gardens Library, the shops at Dos Lagos, and Trilogy at Glen Ivy. The other 3 locations, Home Gardens, Trilogy, and the shops are open 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. But on election night, all 4 locations will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And lastly, there are 2 city measures on your ballot, Measure X and Measure Y. They're at the very, very bottom. They're both pretty important. So you can check out our website, www.coronaca.gov, and get more information about those. And as always, feel free to reach out, call or text me at 951-444-7134 if I can ever be of service.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, it's wonderful. It's so wonderful to have both Councilman and the Vice Mayor here. We are so appreciative that you took the time to be with us. Do the board members have any questions for either of our special guests? Okay, and Lizette is shaking her head no. So we'll take Lizette's lead, and we will say again, thank you so very much. We appreciate you taking the time and spending it with us in our community. Oh yes, Joanna. I'm sorry, Dr. Durab.
Sorry, a question just to the city council members and vice mayor representing the cities. Is there any messaging that our families should know regarding our upcoming Halloween? I mean, I can't think of the little ones or just our teenagers. Any messaging from the cities regarding these 2 public, holidays in the past? We are in the red, purple now. So I wanted to just hear from both of you, as we have several families and probably children watching as of tonight.
Well, here in the city of Corona, Halloween is probably one of our favorite holidays to celebrate, second to the 4th of July, where we really go big with fireworks. But even this year, we had to cancel that event. So we're doing everything possible to model safe celebrations. And so we just encourage everyone to be safe, stay healthy, and this entire year looks a little different in all sorts of ways. And hopefully, we get this under control, and next year we can really go big. But that's what we're doing at City Hall, and we're encouraging everyone else to just be safe and try something a little new, a little different at home, and make your celebrations just as lively, but just a little different.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would echo that. We at our last city council meeting had an update and sort of conveying the message that maybe we try to do a little different this year because we are in the tier that we are in. Maybe not gathering large gatherings. We know that can be the problematic space. Really just isolated or keeping it to the immediate family or immediate folks that you're generally with, not going out and about and moving from door to door, if you will. So just trying to, similarly to the things that we've done so far up to this point, just recognizing we're doing a modified year, if you will. Still wanting to celebrate and appreciate the seasons and the times and the holidays, but just doing it in a little bit modified way, as was mentioned, to keep everyone safe. So that was the suggestion. Small, just within your own household, and that seems to be the safest for residents.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you very much, both of you, and we're so pleased you're here, and we're going to go on with the meeting. You're welcome to stay, but I know you both are very, very busy and have busy schedules. So again, we really appreciate you being here and taking the time to speak to us in our community. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Good night. Good night. Okay, now we're going to be going to public comment as authorized by Governor Newsom's executive order N29.
Who's the pledge?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did. Mr. Robert Schwant.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you so very much. Thanks, Lisette.
Please stand.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Schwant. Now we're going to go to public comment as authorized by Governor Newsom's executive order N2920, dated March 17, 2020. The Alvord Unified School District will conduct all meetings of the governing board via teleconference until further notice. The meetings will be conducted via Zoom. Spanish interpretation is available via Zoom platform. All meetings may also be viewed live on our district YouTube channel on the day of the meeting and are recorded to be viewed subsequently after the meeting. Pursuant to Executive Order N2920, the governing board will take public comments. All public comments must be submitted in writing in advance of the meeting. Please submit your public comment to superintendents@alvordschools.org no later than 9 a.m. on October 22nd, 2020. During the governing board meeting, written public comments received in a timely manner will be read to the governing board. Pursuant to the board bylaws 9323, public comment period will be limited to 20 minutes. Duplicate public comments will not be read to the board. However, all written public comments will be provided to the governing board in advance of this meeting. So at this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Muzzarino if there is any comments that would be like to be read to the board this evening.
Well, thank you, Madam President. We do have one comment, and Dr. Kemp is going to read that.
Okay.
Good
Thank
evening.
you, Dr. Kemp.
Absolutely. Dear Alvord Board of Education, as you begin discussion of racism and discrimination being a public health crisis, I'd like to ask you, board members, what actionable items will you create towards addressing said public health crisis when it comes to a district-wide policy on the International Baccalaureate IB diploma requirements? At the moment, families across the district are embarking on a daunting decision, whether to choose hybrid or virtual student learning models for spring 2021. Simultaneously, students are gearing up for a spring 2021 where they will be fulfilling their IB diploma requirements. IB diploma recipients are a part of the elite in the students in the country, many of which gained entry to this country's top schools, including Ivy Leagues. The issue at hand is that IB students are being forced to choose a hybrid model in order to fulfill their IB diploma requirements. At issue is a forced decision that drips in discrimination and racism. As the Board of Education, what is going to be your role in this? Your ability to make equitable policies for students and staff is within your reach when it comes to IB diploma requirements. Do not hesitate to create a district-wide policy that is equitable for both hybrid and virtual students. Allow hybrid and virtual students the ability to fulfill their diploma requirements this spring 2021. An all-or-nothing response when it comes to hybrid-only options for IB diploma is racist and discriminatory on many levels. Number one, parents who are essential workers will risk their lives and livelihood. A forced hybrid decision will obligate an IB diploma student to go to school and risk infecting their working parents with COVID. The risk is too high for essential workers as they are the breadwinners of their families with jobs that often do not cover COVID leave. The catastrophic consequences, risk, and guilt an IB diploma student is at risk of enduring is far too great a price. No child should have to deal with these types of choices. The district can intervene by making IB diploma requirements equitable for hybrid and virtual students. Number two, IB diploma students who have chronic health conditions that place them in a high-risk COVID category will be forced to choose between their life, health, and an IB diploma. A forced hybrid IB diploma requirement model does not take into account students who must choose a virtual learning option for spring 2021. The district can intervene by making IB diploma requirements equitable for hybrid and virtual students. Number three, district-wide measures are simply not meeting minimum standards to keep IB diploma students safe in a hybrid model. Please take the time to check out every single bathroom in the district. You will quickly realize the millions of surplus dollars left this calendar year should be spent updating them. Children going back to school with bathrooms that often lack fully stocked toilet paper, hand soap, working toilets, and even toilet seats is simply unacceptable. The same way the Board of Education has supported and applauded the IB program,
You have the responsibility to create equitable programming for hybrid and virtual students. Read your mission statement. The same commitment must be kept in place, must keep students safe so they can actually go to college. While funding is always an issue, there should be zero qualms about spending money to create safe spaces that are adequate for all students, whether hybrid or vital to take any necessary exams, complete IB diploma requirements. These two things are not mutually exclusive. You have until October 30th to make a decision. IB families are looking to you for leadership. Do not create performative public health crisis statements. Act them. Thank you, Mimi Velasquez. That's it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kim. With that, there's no other comments, correct? No? All right, thank you. With that, we're going to go to the Board of Education and Superintendent's comments, and we're going to start with Ms. Vega.
Hello, everybody. I hope you noticed my background back at the district office.
We're so jealous.
So this week I was able to participate in the project to inspire for parents who want to take the lead basically in their child's education. You know, what is it that, how can they be more involved? How can they help? And it was just the orientation. So there's more classes to come. So I still encourage for people to participate. And then also I was part of the Go Guardian and cybersecurity workshop, and basically how parents can talk to their child about, you know, what's on the internet, how to be safe, and how Go Guardian works. Honestly, it's a great, it's great. So I encourage also parents to look into that and to download the app, see what your child's doing, especially during, you know, those school hours. It's hard to keep their focus, you know, especially if they're online. I know it's hard for me. So, but school hours should be, you know, focused on academics. I think that's it for me, actually.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Vega. Dr. Dorado.
Okay. Can you hear me okay? Hi. So good evening, everyone. I don't think I'm going to see you before the big election day on November 3rd. So I wanted to make sure I let our community know, just like our city council representative just mentioned and emphasized this evening, it is so important to have your voice heard. I actually voted, so I'm wearing my sticker this evening, and I wanted to make sure that whether you're 18 or you're too busy or you're working or you have children at the house or you're working from home, I know it's not easy to make it a priority all the time, but it is a very important election. And I encourage your 18-year-old or to register to vote. If you're a parent, talk to your family members. Make sure everybody gets involved this election. And then until then, I do have you. I do wish that our audience would stay tuned in. I'm going to be bringing forward a discussion this evening regarding ethnic studies courses, and I hope that you stay tuned so that you can hear that discussion as well.
Thank you, Dr. Dorado. We look forward to that discussion. And Mr. Schwan.
Yes, thank you. Just a couple of items that I wanted to highlight. One, I always enjoy when I'm reading our agenda, the donation section and the outside organizations and parent groups that donate to our different high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools. And this board meeting, we have 5 donations from La Sierra High School, the different clubs there. So even though we're in a space, virtual environment, teaching at home environment, there's still people working hard, working together with the community and the groups that support our schools. And one is the people donating: Grisella Medbeck, Corona American Little League, Sponsor Now, La Sierra Posse, that's the parent organization, and Friends of Golf. There's a lot of those. I like golf. But there's 5 of those individuals donating to La Sierra and the clubs of La Sierra. So thank you very much for that. The other one that I noticed in here that I've been involved with peripherally for probably 5 years, and that's Big Brothers, Big Sisters. They have a direct involvement with especially La Sierra High School, but they have others in the district as well. And at this time, in this environment that we're in, having Big Brothers and Big Sisters to help our little kids, our students, is really important because they're not getting all the interaction that they're used to. So having that big brother, big sister organization helping out, I wanted to thank them very much, and it's been very well accepted in the past, and I'm sure they will continue on with it. That's all for me. Thank you, Carolyn.
Well, perfect. Okay, thank you, Mr. Swan. This kind of rolls into what I'm going to share with you tonight. I wanted to share with you email I received earlier this. I'm not going to read names, obviously. I'm going to read the as I am getting lots of calls for housing authority and other amazing people that want to help. You are a blessing for me and my girls. Thank you. We really are grateful for the fast response and everybody willing to help. Nothing is willing to help. It's all been positive. Energy is around us. We cannot go wrong with you guys on our side. Thank you again. We will keep in touch with you. Thank you. God bless you. You all are amazing women. And then her signature line on this is proud parent of Alvord District. P.S. We have never felt so important when we started receiving all of your amazing women phone calls, and we are forever grateful. And I just wanted to share with this because we are in a difficult time right now. And for this one phone call, we changed this family's lives. They now have a place to stay. They now have food on their tables. And I just wanted to really, really showcase this to show that no matter what situation you're in, all we need you to do is reach out to us. Please reach out to Alvord because we will help you in any way, shape, or form we possibly can. This just was one phone call to our student services, and then we were able to get all these services for this family. And I'm just so, I read this, I just started crying because, I'm all about, we have to serve the full child and we have to make sure that our families are taken care of. And so I just really wanted to thank Mrs. Ramirez, who will be, actually, she's going to be presenting something today, a resolution. So you'll actually get to see her and meet her. And then also the Student Services Department, Sandy Fielding and Dr. Kemp, for supporting and loving our parents and our families. These types of things don't happen without caring and loving individuals. And I always say this again, Alvord family, it truly is an Alvord family. We truly care. And when we can do this is just one instance that one phone call changed the life. And it just really moved me. And I thought I really need to thank them publicly because sometimes we get lost in everything else that's going on in the world right now. But this matters. People matter to us, and this matters. So again, I want to thank all those lovely ladies. They have said this, and also to Dr. Muzzarino, because without your leadership, this would not be happening as well, and the cabinet. So just thank you, everybody, for changing the lives of our families, and especially this family that felt just so compelled to send this and then send this to me to make sure I knew. So I thank them all, and please reach out to us because we are here for you. Please do. Please do. And so with that, I'm going to turn my comments over to Dr. Muzzarino.
Well, thank you, Madam President. Very, very heartfelt. Appreciate you sharing that, and your fellow trustees as well. Among the many things about Alvord that impressed me long before I got here was that commitment to student services. We've always had a robust department, and we've even been able to beef that up even further due to the pandemic. So we are providing an incredible amount of services, as Madam President just shared, just one example. But the outreach efforts and the multi-agency approach working with many of our partners in the city has been absolutely outstanding, and among the many silver linings of this difficult time in our history. But I'm proud to be part of this family, and certainly privileged to be in my position here. So I thank everyone for that. I also want to thank all of our families, our staff, for dealing with this latest setback as it relates to the county moving back to the purple tier. we had our meeting on the 8th, and then we followed up on the 15th with the special to make that announcement. I think everybody knows by now that we are going to continue to distant teach. Students will continue to distant learn until at least January 19th, a couple weeks into the second semester, when we hope at that time to be in the red or maybe orange tier. But again, it's been just an incredibly difficult time for so many of our families and our staff, who are also balancing family needs with their work responsibilities. It's just been tough, but no one's complaining. People are just getting it done. Our staff, our families, and yeah, there's a couple folks who are upset, and quite understandably. But everyone is getting it done in the interest of our children, and for that, again, I'm so proud to be part of the Alvord family. The services from Go Guardian, as Trustee Vega shared, to the student services, specifically social, emotional supports, and other services, food, shelter. I've discussed before our commitment at this time to throw away all the pyramids that we typically work with in education, and focus on the most important pyramid at this time, which is Maslow's hierarchy, our need to ensure that the basic needs are being met. For some of our families, education is the least of their problems. It really is. So how we could help our families get through, we could always make up the learning down the road, as challenging as that's going to be. And I don't want to de-emphasize that challenge in any way. But at this point, we certainly want to make sure that our families are fed, that they're housed, that they are clothed, that they have basic necessities and all the support that we could provide them so that they are in a position to learn. And that work continues to be part of an emphasis that we are all making as a city. As Steve Hemingway and Jackie Casillas, council members from Riverside and Corona respectively, talked about, it's all about providing services. It's where we are servant leaders, everyone in this room, and that'll never be lost on us. That's our priority first and foremost. And if we ever lose sight of that, then we have lost sight of our mission. At a time when many leaders in our country and around the world have lost sight of their mission, in my opinion, we are not going to lose sight of ours, and that is to serve. With that, Madam President, I will get off my soapbox and hand it back over to you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Miserino. Thank you very much. And thank you. Okay, with that, we are going to go on to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are to be routine and will be enacted upon by the time the board votes on the motion, unless members of the board request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent agenda. Your superintendent recommends approval of consent agenda items 7A1 through 7E1. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? No discussion. I'm going to go for a vote. Ms. Vega?
Aye.
Mr. Schwan? Unmute.
Aye.
There you go. And Dr. Dorado?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, now we are going to go to a report from the actions taken in closed sessions. There is nothing to read out in closed session. So we will go on to 8B1, resolution number 26, racism as public health crisis. And do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. And the discussion will be with the resolution and the discussion and the presentation. So, Dr. Muzzarino.
Thank you again, Madam President. And it's, again, with great pride that I also open up discussion on this action item. Another redeeming quality about this wonderful district is the commitment to all children, and all means all. And those are purely words. It's actions that people are interested in. So what are the things that we're doing to ensure that all of our practices and policies are consistent with that commitment to ensuring that all children are served in an equitable fashion? With that, we created a position just this year under the direction of Dr. Kemp, who is the Assistant Superintendent of Education Services, and that's a Director of Equity and Access. And that's Georgina Ramirez, who's going to share a little bit about this resolution, which she has done great work with and on. Going to talk about the things that we've already done, things that we are planning to do, and things that we hope to do in the very near and distant future. So with that, Georgina, please take over.
Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be here to discuss this and present this resolution to the board and to our community. As you know, this board is a process, how can I say this, is our statement as a district that we are supportive and inclusive and are aware of the need to ensure that all of our students at Alvord Unified School District receive the support academically, social, emotional to be able to improve their academic achievement and school connectedness, and social awareness of our diverse community at Alvord. And so this statement would make our current work and the work that we have been doing for years official, and it would ensure that the support would be continued to be provided to continue the work that we have been doing. And also just knowing that, you know, with all the current events, how it's been negatively impacted all of our students, that we have the emphasis and the support again to ensure that they feel connected and they feel safe on campus and in our community. With that, so right now, we're currently in the process of collaborating with AACSCA and CTA and providing an implicit bias training with our teachers and all our staff. We have a contract with Community Now, who is providing mental and self-care awareness to our African American students. They are also providing professional development to all of our staff and trauma informed, with the cultural emphasis and how it impacts specific cultures in our community. And then there's also voluntary teacher training that was offered to all of our certificated, classified, and management for, it's a one-on-one coaching for cultural awareness or cultural success within our classrooms. We have also been reviewing the general policies and disciplinary school policies and school regulations to ensure that all of our students are being treated fairly and equitably throughout, so that there's no overrepresentation of any one group and the higher rate of suspension or expulsion rates that we have. And Alvord Unified does an amazing job already, but as always, there's always room for improvement in any sense. I mean, we want to keep our students, all of our students on campus. And then we are also working with our special education department and our EL department to put processes in place to ensure that there's no overrepresentation of our EL students and our special education students. Again, the more that we're out in general education, or the more that we're out in curriculum as a whole, with everybody, even within special education, we're working consistently to make sure that they're incorporated into the general education curriculum through collaborative classes and co-teaching class models. So those are some of the things that we're doing. We're working currently to address some of the points in the resolution. And moving forward, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go. Yes, you're doing wonderfully. You're fabulous.
in moving forward, my hope is that we will be working. I will be collaborating with HR to ensure that there's diversity within our hiring processes and in our staff at all our school sites. I think that's all I have right now. So if you have any questions, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board for Ms. Ramirez?
Not questions, I think just comments.
Okay, please.
Yeah, so first of all, just thank you, Georgina, for presenting this item to the board and kind of going over what you're already doing and what's being done. I know we're not the only school district that's doing this, or city, or even county who has passed it. So just thank you so much for going over it. And I'm really happy that we're already doing work, but of course, like you said, this is just to make it official and just to kind of keep us accountable for what we're doing. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other comments or questions for Ms. Ramirez? Okay, all right. Well, I just would like to thank you for that wonderful email that I received regarding you. And I just want to thank you for always, and that's just one of many that I've heard that you have reached out and you're always there for our families. And so I just want to thank you personally and just say, we just could not do this without you. And I'm so excited that you're a part of our team now. And I'm just so pleased with that. You're amazing. And I thank you for all your hard work and everything and all your dedication to our students, because it shows. And you've only been in this department for a very short amount of time, but it's already flourishing and we're making such great strides. So, and I know you're going to be a part of another discussion later on. So I look forward to that. So thank you very much. And you're welcome. And with that, we're going to go to a vote on the resolution. So we will go to Ms. Vega.
Aye.
Mr. Schwann.
Aye.
Dr. Dorado. Aye. And Ms. Wilson is an aye. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go on to 8B2, review proposed revisions to board policies and administrative regulations. We will be waiving the second read of these. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? At this time, I'm going to call for a vote. Ms. Vega?
Aye.
Mr. Schwann?
Aye.
Dr. Dorado?
Aye.
And Mrs. Wilson is an aye. We're now going to go to 8C1, approved personnel order 06-2020-2021. And this is with the amendment on page 8. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, with that, we're going to call for a vote. Ms. Vega?
Aye.
Mr. Schwann?
Aye.
Dr. Dorado?
Aye.
And Mrs. Wilson is an aye. 8C2 is ratification master agreement, Quest Diagnostics, Health and Welfare, LCC. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, is there any discussion? Okay, with that, we're going to call for a vote. Ms. Vega?
Aye.
Mr. Schwann?
Aye.
Dr. Dorado?
Aye.
And Mrs. Wilson is an aye. 8C3, adopt amended annual resolution number 35, teacher assignment and assignment monitoring. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? With that, we'll move to a vote. Ms. Vega?
Aye.
Mr. Schwann?
Aye.
Dr. Dorado?
Aye.
And Mrs. Wilson is an aye. 8C4, conduct public hearing, sunshine negotiations between Alvord Unified School District and California School Employees Association and its Alvord Chapter 339, 2020-21 school year. Do I have a motion to open the public comments?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and I need a vote. Ms. Vega?
Aye.
Mr. Schwann?
Aye.
Dr. Dorado?
Aye.
And Mrs. Wilson is an aye. Okay, with the public comment hearing, is there any public comments, Dr. Muzzarino? No, there is not. With that, we're going to close the public comments and we are going to go to 8C5, Sunshine proposal from California Schools Association and its Alvord Chapter 339, 2020-21 school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a first and second. Is there any discussion? All right, with that, we're going to go to a vote. Ms. Vega?
Aye.
Mr. Schwant?
Aye.
Dr. Dorado?
Aye.
And Mrs. Wilson is an aye. We're now going to the discussion information items portion of the agenda. And we're going to go to 9A1, and it's non-discrimination in district programs and activities. And we're going to send this off to, it's going to be Ms. Vega, Vice President, and Dr. Muzzarino. So we're going to send it off to Dr. Muzzarino.
Well, thank you, Madam President. And I'm going to get a presentation up here to guide this discussion. But before we start that, I again want to reiterate the message from our council member and representative, Ward 7, Mr. Hemingway. Testing is so critical. Item 8C2 that the board just approved is for our commitment to testing our employees, and we will follow the guidelines from the California Department of Public Health, and all employees will be tested every 2 months. But it's critical to drive our numbers down and give the county an opportunity to really be able to gauge the threat and act accordingly, as far as having all of the space available in hospitals and all of the appropriate PPE and other supplies in place. In my weekly meeting with the county health organization, that's exactly what they are asking all of us employers, and we're among the larger employers in the city of Riverside. So please go and get tested. You could see here on the screen, gettested.ruhelth.org. And it's not painful at all. It's a little tickle, but my gosh, the impact that it has. Remember that the percentage of positivity is based on the number of people who test. So it's really critical for our families and our community to go out and test. And Alvord's certainly doing our share. I know that our neighbors at Riverside Unified and Corona are as well. So it's so critical that as major employers that we are encouraging our staff to go ahead and test. Okay, with that, let me now move on to this discussion item. And thank you for indulging me, Madam President. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Okay, so discussion item 9A1 is related to our board policy that speaks to non-discrimination in district programs and activities. And to frame this discussion, we're going to utilize our board policy 0410A as it relates to school nicknames and mascots. As Madam President opened up with, Trustee Vega's commitment to this, and it is Trustee Vega who has brought this as a discussion item. And I thank you for that, and all the board for support. Trustee Vega and the board directed me to do an annual review per policy 0410A related to district programs and activities to ensure the removal of any derogatory or discriminatory name, image, practice, or other barrier that may unlawfully prevent an individual or group in any of the protected categories stated above, and that's in the remainder of the policy, which has a list of those categories as it relates to having access to district programs. As we just heard from Mrs. Ramirez, it's about access to programs. It's that all of our students have an equal opportunity to be successful and access all the many wonderful things we do in our organization. The board policy itself says this: as I just described a little bit about it. I'll leave this on the screen for just a moment while I talk a little bit about it. But again, it's critical as an organization that serves children that we do so in a way that all of our children have the equal opportunity to learn in a safe environment, a safe learning environment. Again, regardless of anything related to race, color, ancestry, nationality, national origin, immigration statutes, ethnic group identification, ethnicity, age, religion, marital status, pregnancy, parental status, physical or mental disability, sex, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, gender expression, or genetic information. A perception of one or more of such characteristics, or association with a person or group with one or more of these actual or perceived characteristics. So a lot of what you just heard from Ms. Ramirez when we talked about this resolution, to encapsulate this policy as it relates to the purpose of this discussion, is to look specifically at district programs and activities that to ensure that they're free of any racially derogatory or discriminatory school or athletic names, mascots, or nicknames. So a little background. One of our scholars wrote this. Having a Native American as our school mascot perpetuates stereotypes surrounding natives, as well as created caricatures about natives in the minds of impressionable students. This student represented Norte Vista High School, also circulated a petition to garner support. So democracy in action. So proud of this student for bringing this back up, and for Trustee Vega to advance it. A little more background, again, for context. We have 35 students who claim American Indian or Alaskan Native descent. We have 240 students additionally, 2 or more races, some of which may or may not be also American Indian or Alaskan Native. In the county, there's 1,940 students who are American Indian and Alaska Native. Of course, many of those students go to our neighboring schools and come visit our campuses for athletic and other types of events. And then there's another 14,732 who may or may not also claim American Indian and Alaskan Native descent. And just for your information, and again, a little more context, California has the largest number of American Indians in the country. And amongst those, there's 30,282 students currently in the state of California who attend California schools. So what we're discussing specifically here is Norte Vista High School, who are the Braves, and Arizona Middle School, who are the Apaches. And they are amongst the 2,100 teams in the United States that utilize Native American mascots. And of those, and that's 47,000 approximately nicknames of a variety of different teams. But 92% of those represent schools. So of the 2,100, many of you could think of sports teams, for example, that also have Native American mascots. But specifically of those 2,100, 92% of them are schools. And these are the most common. And you could see warriors, Indians, raiders, braves, chiefs or chieftains, specific tribal names. An example of that would be, for example, Florida State University, the Seminoles, for example, and 75 named Redskins. Now, in 2015, California banned all public schools from using Redskins as a mascot or a nickname, and that is the California Racial Mascot Act. But it didn't ban all Native American names. So we now are investigating in relation and in accordance to our board policy, which governs us. But I want to make it clear that when school districts make decisions, we follow the decision-making principle that is based on the research rather than public opinion. Now, obviously, we are always seeking public input and public opinion. However, when a decision is made, it is based on the principle that it is research and evidence-based. That is the responsible way of spending taxpayer dollars. So there's a lot of research on this topic, and it doesn't take you very long to find it. If you wanted to Google it, it's as simple as that. But these are amongst the seminal works that have been done in this area. The psychosocial effects of Native American mascots, a comprehensive review of empirical research findings. And this is in a peer-reviewed journal, a scholarly journal, Race, Ethnicity, and Education. There's also prominent work done by the National Congress of American Indians. This report was done in 2013, Ending the Legacy of Racism in Sports and the Era of Harmful Indian Sports Mascots. And again, this is just part of a great body of research on this topic. So just to summarize it, once again, this is the discussion tonight just to begin the process of investigating our board policy as it relates to our nicknames. So a quick summary of the findings. As far as the direct effect on Native Americans, that the mascots have in fact been found to yield negative psychological effects such as depressed self-esteem, community worth, future achievement-related goals, and increased negative feelings of stress, distress, depression, dysphoria, and hostility for Native American students. But it's not only the impact on Native American students, but also on non-Native people who also are impacted. And the summary of findings there, that exposure and support for Native mascots was associated with an increase in negative stereotyping and prejudiced attitudes towards and tendency to discriminate against Native Americans. So mascots generate negative effects on non-Native persons as well. So the overarching theme of the research is that stereotypical representations, kind of known as caricatures, are too often understood as factual representations and thus contribute to the development of cultural biases and prejudices. So given the direction from the Board of Education, again under the leadership in this case of Trustee Vega, but of course under the broad leadership of Madam President, the plan is to assemble a broad coalition who will be tasked to solicit input from all stakeholder groups and make recommendations to staff. We expect that to start happening in January of this coming year. We will seek guidance from tribal organizations. We'll come back here and update the board and community on our progress. And I expect to make a recommendation to the board sometime in the spring, tentatively set for April, May, but because of all of the uncertainty surrounding the pandemic, I'm keeping that tentative at this juncture, but that certainly is my expectation. With that, Madam President, I am happy to field any questions.
Great. Okay, are there any questions for Dr. Muserino or Board Member Vega?
Yes, thank you. No questions, just thank you so much for putting this together, you and staff. I appreciate that. When I said, I want to bring this to the board, you were able to do so. I know this is a touchy subject, and as most of you know, I graduated from Norte Vista. And as I've said multiple times, even here during board meetings, once a brave, always a brave. And so I know a lot of us are very proud of where we come from, and I know I'm proud of the school that I went to and everything that I was able to accomplish there. And I know that after I graduated, there was some issues that were brought up by some students. And then even now in recent events, more people are bringing it up. And then this petition, I know I've had some residents call into city council meetings and actually bring it up as well. So I've had emails and calls. And so I thought this would be the best time to bring it up for discussion to the board. And also after hearing the board policies and the declaration, declaring racism as a public health crisis, I think we really need to stay consistent with our board policies. So, and also like Dr. Musrino said, board advises we're gonna bring, our stakeholders together to kind of see how we best move forward. So thank you so much again for that. And if my colleagues have anything else to say, please feel free.
Comment for myself. So Vice President Vega, as you mentioned, I've also graduated from Norte Vista, and there is a hard commute. Like there's a really tight knit community when you meet someone that's maybe 50 or 70 years old, and they told you, "Oh, I graduated from Norte Vista," and then you both, recite you recite once a brave, always a brave. So it's something that connects you automatically with this individual you're meeting for the first time, for example, in your community. There's that that connection that you make. So I know that we're gonna follow board policy, but I wanted to state to the student that started the committee, I think that was very important that you created that. But I do want to emphasize that there is, hopefully the committee comes up with suggestions such as dropping an S, braves, such as the caricature, just obviously providing different options for our community to discuss those different options. I think just because it's just something that we really need to discuss. Do we want to drop the S? Do we want to just eliminate all biased caricatures? So I just think it's an important discussion, and I look forward to what will come from that committee.
Thank you, Dr. Dorado. Are there any other comments? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, if I may, and thank you, Dr. Dorado. You kind of reminded me of that. Yeah, this isn't as Trustee Vega said. Yeah, it certainly could be a very, very highly charged issue, but it's not about sides here. No one is claiming that those who support the Braves support racism or behavior that supports that. It's not about that. It's about us ensuring that our children do not feel targeted, that they are not made to feel uncomfortable, and that we are not perpetuating racial stereotypes. So I just think it's so important to know that we will always honor the Brave and always honor Norte Vista High School. And then obviously graduates, as you both are, feel and sense that pride from others. And this is in no way, shape, or form will ever diminish that. This simply is looking at everything in totality with information that we didn't have 50 years ago when we named certain schools. I mentioned 2,100 nicknames left. It was 7,000 as recently as 10 years ago. So again, I just want to make sure that all of our Norte Vista families do not in any way, shape, or form feel that we are disrespecting the school or their opinions on this, because it means an awful lot to us as well.
Thank you, Dr. Miserino. Okay, are there any other comments?
Yeah, comment. Lizette, thank you for following up on this and making sure that we go through it as a board and we have some action taken just to look at it. And my encouragement and discussions would be make sure we look at other schools and other mascots, not just Norte Vista and the Braves, but what are we doing in our district? Is there any others that we need to look at? So that'll be up for the team to look at and then get the task force put together. But looking at it is a great idea, so thank you.
Yes, thank you. I agree. Thank you very much. Lizette, this is it's come to the board before, so I'm really excited for it to be here now, and that we're going to get a committee together, and it'll be very interesting. And I'm really interested in seeing where this takes us. So thank you very much for bringing this forward. I applaud you. All right. Okay. And here is, yes, everybody's applauding you, Lizette. Or Ms. Vega. Okay. And is there any other discussion for this item? Okay. With that, we're going to go to the next item, and it is 9A2. It's ethnic studies. And Dr. Kemp is right here, ready to go. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Kemp and to Dr. Dorado.
Dr. Dorado is going to speak first.
Okay, Dr. Dorado.
Hi there, good evening. So I want to go ahead and take a moment this evening to go ahead and explain to our audiences why I'm bringing forward ethnic studies as a discussion item. I want to let our viewers know that I am personally committed to this cause, and I have strong passion for ethnic studies in our district. I want to let you know that I will continue to be an advocate for this item, and as long as I continue to serve as a board member, I will continue the discussion and move it forward. You might ask yourself, why? Why now? It might seem like a harmony, right? Where it's such a thematic item throughout our evening this evening, because we have the resolution 26 that has just been approved, and it kind of goes in line with everything that's going on in our community, in our country, in our society. And I want to say that for me as an individual, my children, students in our district, our community, I really want to let you know that this is an important item. And I wish we had ethnic studies when I was a high school student, or when I was a student at Alvord. And I'll tell you why. When I ended up in a university level UCR, I ended up minoring in ethnic studies after taking just one single course at UCR of ethnic studies. It completely opened up my mind and my knowledge about culture, and not only my culture, but the culture of other individuals that we share classrooms with. That is true today. You are seeing a systematic racism problem. It's a public crisis, as we're saying. It's something that's affecting people. It's a mental health problem. It's a crisis. It's something that, whether we want to admit it or not, is a problem that we are connected with. And I do want to mention that, unfortunately, if we're educators and we're tasked as leaders, as an elected leader, to advocate for individuals or advocate for change, it is so important to start with our children, just educating that next generation, or that individual that's going to be out in society in the near future in a job placement, working with other individuals that might not share their ethnic or cultural background. Learning about your own culture and learning about other cultures creates access to other individuals and their lived experiences. If it wasn't for me taking these classes, I wouldn't have been aware of such different history, I would say, than the one that I was taught in high school. It is almost as if the history of other individuals was silenced. And it is so important that educators not ignore that, but embrace it and actually take action. Because our community, as you see in our nation, is demanding change right now. They're demanding action. How to better serve these people or our community by educating them and adopting curriculum that will only emphasize that we find this to be critical as well. We find this to be valuable and important for our students to understand and learn about other cultures. I personally think that if I would have had a better understanding about ethnic studies or culture awareness from other cultures, I would have definitely been more engaged in my just in my education. I would have been more engaged in understanding others' lived experiences. I would have. I truly believe that if our students were to get this type of education, we wouldn't be in that level of systematic racism. We would have better understanding of other people's differences. That is why I'm bringing this item forward. That is why I'm personally passionate about this item as a board member. And I would like to see where our district is today, where we want to be, and how our newly Ms. Ramirez, that we knew there's a new position as equity and access leader is going to bring forward to us.
Thank you, Dr. Dorado. Dr. Kim.
Thank you. I am very happy to update our board and our community on our ethnic studies journey that we are currently on. As you may have heard, there have been issues at the state level with the Ethnic Studies Assembly Bill, but rest assured in Alvord, we are moving forward. And so I would like to hand it over to Ms. Ramirez to talk about our ethnic studies timeline and where we're at, because she is leading this work. Ms. Ramirez?
Hi again.
Hello.
So as many of you know, this topic is near and dear to my heart. I do have a bachelor's in ethnic studies, and so this is something that has been part of my life for many, 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 many years. And also, it's been a topic of conversation in the community and in the county and all levels, education-wise, and a lot of the task force and organizations that I meet with on the continuous basis. This has been a topic of conversation for a long time. As Dr. Kemp mentioned, Governor Newsom did veto AB 331. However, Alvord Unified is still moving forward with offering ethnic study courses. We have had Chicano studies at Norte Vista High School for a number of years. I would say approximately 5 years, if not longer than that. So that is something that has been ongoing at Alvord for a long time. So this isn't something that is going to be new to Alvord. We're just going to expand what's already being done. So we have already formed an advisory committee that consists of 2 teachers from every secondary site. I worked with Dr. Presby in HR to make sure that all of our community was represented, that we have representation from all of our groups, to include our LGBTQ community, because it's also important that, that historically that their contributions are also acknowledged. And the one thing that we need to take away from this is that ethnic studies isn't something is not a divisive form or avenue. It really is a form to unite all of our communities, because when we learn about each other's contributions and we can celebrate each other's contributions, it's a unifying factor. So that's important for everyone to understand that learning about our own history and the history of our neighbor is going to be something that brings us together and does not pull us apart. Okay, so in our advisory committee, we've also included representation from local colleges and universities like UC Riverside and Cal State San Bernardino. And we're hoping to have our first advisory committee meeting in November. We're just waiting on some material to be delivered. So we're waiting for that to happen, but we will be meeting hopefully in November. So our plan right now is that for the 21-22 school year, we'll offer it as an elective. And then moving forward for the 22-23 school year, it would be our graduation requirement, or it will be a graduation requirement. And then our plan is to continue our efforts to expand that and to offer more literature courses in a variety of areas. Currently, that is our plan, and we are hoping that, like I said, that we'll have our first meeting in November, and then moving forward, we'll be able to provide a more in-depth timeline. That's what I have for you right now.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mrs. Ramirez? Okay. Robert? Jeff?
No, no question. Just that it's another great program, another great part of what we're doing in our district to make it stronger and to reach our students. So thank you.
Absolutely. I think, Ms. Ramirez, you're a very busy lady. You're a very busy lady. And we appreciate that. Dr. Muzzarino.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mrs. Ramirez and Dr. Kemp. Wonderful work leading the way. The county is very engaged in this work as well. It is something that's happening up at the state board level, and we are blessed to have former Alvord Administrator Dr. Cynthia Glover, who is working closely with us on this project. Cynthia is the assistant superintendent in charge of ed services, kind of Sherry's type position, but she also is a newly minted member of the State Board of Education. So how wonderful to have an Alvordian on the state board, and she is the state board representative for the Ethnic Studies Task Force at that level, and they're going to be doing the work here at the county. So she's a great friend of the district, as you all know, works closely with Georgina and Sherry. We spent an hour yesterday, all four of us, just talking about what this could look like and just the implications, because this has far-reaching implications. I think Georgina said it right. It's about similarities, not differences. It's about what we recognize to be important as Americans, and that's that we're Americans, and we all work towards a common goal. So I believe ethnic studies is going to be, again, one more step in a very positive direction as it relates to messaging to our students that they are highly valued. And you can't ever say that enough. But again, saying it is one thing, taking action is another. And this is one more example of the Board of Education taking action to serve our children.
And if I can interject really quick, I forgot to mention that our secondary AVID classes are also implementing ethnic studies content in their Socratic seminars as well, currently.
Terrific. It's wonderful.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Dorado, for bringing this up. Thank you, Georgina and Sherry, for everything, and the whole district as a whole for, even though the state, didn't go through as a graduation requirement, we're still moving forward, and, there's a lot of great things happening. I appreciate Dr. Dorado's passion. I have a very passionate about it myself, but not as much as Dr. Dorado, I guess. But thank you so much, and I look forward to this, to see how this comes through.
Thank you.
I also want to conclude by thanking everybody involved in this commitment that we have as a district to move this forward. I'm just very excited to see the work of the committee. I really hope that maybe we can, after first couple meetings, we definitely can share out to our community, or even reach out to Ms. Glover and see if we just share out to our community, because I might be passionate and as an educator know the value behind it, but I definitely want to bring that to our community as the work is being done. Why? Because this is new to a lot of people. If we're saying we're going to start making this a graduation requirement in the near future, or we're going to have students take these classes, I like our community to be part of this. And just create awareness, because I do know that there's districts across our county that are actually already implementing these courses. So I just want to keep bringing that communication line to our families so that they know what that curriculum looks like. So hopefully maybe providing a study session into next semester or something like that. Once the committee's formed, I would really like to bring that back.
Okay.
Yeah, we Madam President, that we certainly are planning on bringing back progress reports on both of these discussion items. So we will keep the board updated regularly on the work, and be happy, of course, to answer any questions about our progress at any time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Okay. With that, again, we thank Board Member Vega and Dr. Dorado. Thank you very much for bringing these forward. We appreciate that. And you both have you're very passionate, Lizette, about this. You absolutely are. So thank you very much. And thank you, Mrs. Ramirez and Dr. Kemp, for joining us. You've been here all evening with us. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to go on now to 9B1, district-wide facilities report with Kevin. You're on, Kev.
Thank you, Madam President and board members. I'm excited to share tonight the facilities report for September 2020. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And so tonight we're going to talk about the projects that we had completed in September, or kind of an update on those, and talk about work orders, and also talk a little bit about our energy modernization project, where we are. We had a number of major milestone projects that were completed, and then also talk a little bit about our safety committee in our occupational safety health concern report. And so we're talking about our energy modernization. And so about a year ago in December, the board approved a contract with Climate Tech to do a number of energy modernization projects and look at adding air conditioning to 2 of our high school gyms, doing solar for Viegas Middle School, and a district-wide LED exterior and interior lighting projects. Also updating our thermostats to more of a smart thermostat, and then updating some of our 25-year-old and over air conditioner units across the district. So our first project I'm going to show here is over at Lost Sierra High School. And so you can see here in blue the new air conditioning ductwork. And so
beautiful.
yes,
Wow.
yes,
Mrs. Marino's probably gone crazy over this.
yeah, she's pretty excited about it.
The
But
lights
also
make a big difference.
Wow,
Yes.
it sure does. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, these are the new LED lights that are in there, and so it really brightens the place up really well. So
Beautiful.
and then over at our Norte Vista High School, although the ducting was there, they didn't have the air conditioning part of it. So so here's a picture of the gym. Even during the daytime, you'll notice, because they have windows, not all the LED lights come on. So they're only sensitive if it's at a certain below a certain lighting level. So
It's beautiful.
yes.
And it's going to be nice when the music festival's there. The parents won't be so warm. Won't be.
Yes. Hopefully
Programs are all moving, and that'll be
Yes.
wonderful. They'll appreciate that.
They will.
Wonderful.
And then our lighting projects across the district. And so here's kind of where we are to date as of the end of September. And so a number of schools are at or very close to the 100% complete. And then you can see when we get down to like Arizona, 36%, and then some other schools that still are on the horizons. And so we're hoping that in the next few months that these other schools will get updated. And so this is both exterior and interior, and really will change the appearance of our schools. And so here's some of what some of the exterior lighting looks like. You saw the interior earlier in the gyms, but so exterior wise, so look at our 2-story classrooms at night and how well lit those are. Loma Vista around the parking lot area, underneath the walkways at Loma Vista, and then outside some of our finger buildings at some of our schools. And so really a true benefits for any of our evening custodians that are working after hours, but also as we get into reopening our facilities for use of facilities for outside groups or parent nights or back to school nights or open house or any of those other evening events. It'll be nice to have some of that lighting for those people. And then on top of that, it'll save us a lot of money too, because these are LED lights that use anywhere from $4,000 to 8 kilowatts compared to 18 to 24 kilowatts. So each one of those lights will save a significant amount of money over the life of the bulb. The other part of our energy project, we incorporated solar. This was our first solar project in Alvord, and it was over at Viegas Middle School. And it's out there in the front parking lot, and so you can see from these pictures what that kind of looks like. And when you look at over a 30-year period, what that production could be, and it's almost 7.5 million kilowatt hours over the course of that 30 years. And it sounds like a big number, and not saying it's not a big number. It's just, when someone says, well, it's over 30 years, it may not seem like very much. But when we look at some comparisons, and so what we're looking at, in the I want to say kind of a purple blue color, this was October 25th, and this was our energy consumption for that day at Viegas. And so we're looking at 2343, so just under 2350 square feet, kilowatt hours. And then when we got the solar, looking at October 6th, drops down almost 780 kilowatt hours just for that one day. And so when you think about that, 780 kilowatt hours, that could be one household, their entire monthly consumption. And so this is just one day of what we saved. And so, and as we look at some other days, moving on further in the same, in the week, August 26th, we're at a 2354, and then October 7th down to a 1517. So that's a saving of about 835 kilowatt hours. And then August 27th to October 8th, we have a reduction of about over 900 kilowatt hours. And so just in those 3 days, looking at what we can save is tremendous amount of power. And, that's also going to help our general fund, our electricity bill. And so a school like Viegas could see a reduction in their electricity bill of about $55,000 a year. And that would be a savings to the general fund. And so that's really, really exciting. So, and next thing I want to talk about is our maintenance work orders reports. And so the last report I provided at the last month's report was based on last year's, and we looked at a couple years comparison. And so tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about our July work orders, kind of where we stand. And so our maintenance staff has been really hard at getting things completed. Our school site, as they came back in July, more of on a regular basis, starting putting in more work orders. And so, people are starting to get caught up on all those activities at the school sites. And so, in the month of July, we closed out or completed 542. We received 490. And so we made some pretty good progress there. And when we look at August, completed 565, received 546. And so our receive starts to climb a little bit as the more and more staff comes back and they start to notice things and more work orders get put in. And then when we look at our September, we have a completed of 694 and received 777. And a lot of that 777 is contributed to every year we have a company come out to inspect our facilities, California School Inspectors or CSI, and they go through and they do a thorough inspection of all our facilities, take photos and everything. Well, all that information gets input by our maintenance and operations technician, And so as she's putting those work orders in and assigning those to the individual trades, our guys are getting out there to start doing repairs. And so, so that a lot of those receives are not necessarily from the school sites, but they probably are a result of that inspection. And so we do those inspections every year in preparation for our Williams, part of the Williams Act, part of the facilities inspection tool, which then also gets reported on the SARC for each of the school sites. And so we're getting very close. The end of October is our cutoff date for getting as much as we can done. And so we use November 1st as that snapshot and kind of see where we land. And hopefully our schools can be classified as in good repair. So. And but this is a new item that we're adding to the monthly facilities report. And so we currently resurrected our safety committee for Alvord Unified School District. And so we had our first meeting in September. And so we've created a occupational safety hazard report where employees can submit any safety hazards, whether it be a facilities type safety hazard or it could be equipment related. So a number of things. And the whole idea with that is to give our employees a safe mechanism to be able to report these safety hazards, and then also alert our administrators at the school sites, and then myself, so that we can look at addressing those concerns. And so in September we received 3 reports, 2 of them at Hillcrest High School. And so the first one was a sinkhole over by the baseball warning track. This is we've had these in the past at this field. This was at a different location than where it was before, and so the resolution for that was to get basically make it safe by providing some safe fencing around the area so that students or staff wouldn't get injured being around it. The sinkhole is currently being filled, and so when we're talking about making an incident, making it safe, it just means that we're going to make sure that no one can get injured, or nobody else can get injured if someone did get injured. And so I'll say, that's how typically these things will get resolved. The practice during the pandemic, and so in September, early September, there was probably some over anxious students and coaches that wanted to get started on some conditioning, and so that pretty much resolved itself when we started allowing conditioning, which was maybe a couple of days after this date. So it pretty much resolved itself. The next one, September 15th, is Howard High School. This was a concern about electromagnetic field in our cafeteria at that location. I'll say at this, the next board meeting, I'll be bringing forward a contract with a company that will go out and do some tests on that. And then, so we'll see what the test results show, and then what their recommendations, if they have any, to resolve any possible safety hazard. And so this is something that CSEA and management are working closely. We meet monthly and review all the issues and discuss them. And at this time, we're just doing it via the Zoom. But then when we get to the point where we can meet more face-to-face, then we'll actually go out to school sites to visit visit the sites. And with that, I don't know if there's any questions from the board or anything.
A couple of questions, Kevin.
Yes.
What would the students or the staff recognize if there's an electromagnetic field?
So a lot of our appliances give off electromagnetic fields. So our TVs, our computers, any electronic, device gives off some of that electromagnetic. Now, it's not something obviously we're going to see because it's kind of invisible, but it could, some health hazards, could be, someone might have an adverse effect to some of those electromagnetic fields. And so in this case here, there's a concern because right adjacent to the cafeteria is a IT MDF room. And so there's a number of switches and wireless equipment in that room. And so there's just a concern that was brought up. And so like anything, I'm not an expert in this field. And so finding someone that is an expert in that industry to go out and do testing, just to let us know, hey, is there truly a health concern here? And if there is, what can we do to protect our staff? So.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other questions for Kevin from the board? All right, Kevin. Well, thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin.
All right. Thank you.
You're busy out there. Our schools are looking beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Yes. Norte Vista and the gyms at Norte Vista and La Sierra. Wow, what a difference! What a difference! Just incredible. So thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to go to 10, the agenda item for future board meetings. Are there any? Does anybody have anything that they'd like to put on a future board meeting? Okay. With that, we are going to adjourn the meeting. I'd like to thank everybody for coming and joining us. It was a wonderful board meeting. So much information, and it shows you where our hearts are and where we're going forward and where Alvord is going. So it's really exciting to be a part of it. And thank you, board members, for having all your different passions, because that's what it shows. It shows that we are a wonderful group of people that really, really care about our students in all different ways. And so I'm blessed to be a part of this wonderful group of people. So with that, I thank everybody for joining us this evening. We're going to adjourn at 7:39, and the next board meeting is November the 5th at 6 o'clock, and we hope to see you all there. And until then, please stay safe and be happy and stay healthy. So good night, everybody. Thank you very much. Good night.
Okay, you're